Let's now focus on local governance. Minister for Local Government, Decentralization and Rural Development and Botry has tasked assemblies to prioritize the local economic development of their areas. He was addressing a zonal training program on local economic development and lessons learned from the modernizing of agriculture projects in Accra.
The government continues to pursue policies and initiatives at the national, regional, and district levels that will create jobs and also boost and improve upon the livelihood of the people. And we are clear that as we boost agricultural production, it will lead to industrial growth, and it will lead to creation of jobs and upgrade of the quality of life of our people. The government has therefore identified agriculture as the mainstay of local economic development and has introduced several initiatives, among others are the planting for food and jobs, rearing for food and jobs, planting for export and rural development, one district, one factory, and many others, all geared towards local economic development. Local Governance Act 2016 Act 936, which talks about the functions of a district assembly. Section 12 says that a district assembly shall exercise political and administrative authority in their district. 12(1)(b) promote local economic development. So you can have all others, chasing hawkers, selling on pavements, destroying properties, and all other things that can gain attention. But at the end of the day, first line, exercise political and administrative authority in the district. Next one, promote local economic development. So that's how we all have to answer. When we meet as an assembly, how have you responded to this one is law. You don't have an option.
Let's stay a bit further on this and head over to Zoom and speak with local government analyst Fred Oduro on this particular one. Good evening, sir, and thanks for your time this evening on News 360. From where you sit, do you think that various assemblies are doing enough to develop local economies?
Well, it is now shifting focus on that. You see, hitherto, our local government system has been interested more in general development. I mean, we're talking about provision of infrastructure and stuff like that. So in educational field, in health, in some of the other key socioeconomic areas, provision of markets, rules, and the like. The assemblies have been doing quite well in those areas. However, this key issue of local economic development doesn't seem to have been a priority, or half of the time the assemblies don't even know where they intervene to support local economic development. But in recent times, with a shift towards developmental local governance, more and more attention is being paid to local economic development. Because if you're going to look at the overall development of the people, and as the minister rightly pointed out, and you have a responsibility for supporting local economic development, you need to begin to engage a lot more with the people engaged in business. So within the area, there are people who are, for instance, artisanal mechanics and the likes. What are the areas they are, where do they conduct their business? If you look at even the market women, construction of markets places, these are things that go directly to promote local economic development. And the assembly is expected to lead the way as an enabler to support all those who are coming in to conduct business. So I think now a greater emphasis is being pushed towards local economic development. Well, and I can tell you that in the current assessment of the assemblies, under the assemblies do have what you call the district performance assessment tool. Those in the area will call it the DPAT. The DPAT has got indicators that measure the level to which assemblies are supporting local businesses or creating an environment to enable private businesses thrive in their areas. So these things are now becoming key issues within the local governance area.
So then how can the various heads of the assemblies ensure the development needs of their assemblies are met? What do they have to do?
Well, we're talking about creating the environment to enable particularly private sector thrive in the area. It depends on so many other things. For some, it might be the provision of certain key services. Preparing rules, supporting particular sectors of the economy with certain key support. Some of them might need you to help them. There are some small businesses that the owners do not even know how to keep proper books. There are the former MBSSI, that there's a trade and industry wing within the assemblies. They are there to support private businesses, providing them with the key resources in terms of capacity building in how to even go about their businesses. If somebody wants to register a business, how difficult should that be for the person within a particular jurisdiction of an assembly? So there's a lot more that go into it. It's not just one simple issue, but there are various things that the assembly can do to capacitate private sector.
Well, one of the issues that have been raised is that we're supposed to be decentralized, but many assemblies depend on the share of district assembly common fund, which is always in arrears. It comes late. How can they raise finance to also ensure economic growth at the local level?
That even comes to the core of supporting the local industries, because the assemblies, in addition to central government transfers, must also generate what we call internal funds. That's the IGF that we normally say. It is up to assemblies to also become more proactive. Oftentimes, assemblies do not go in for what even the law allows them to collect. Today we can discuss, say, property rates. All over the country, there are properties across the country that are not attracting rates. And these are funds that should go to the assembly. We need the assemblies to also up their game in the internal mobilization of resources, particularly financial resources. Because it is important, they must rely on, they must receive funding from central government. But what have they also done in terms of their own, what the law allows them to collect in terms of IGF, as we may want to call it here? So it is a two-way affair. In as much as we should strengthen central government transfers, the assembly must also do very well to generate enough from within their internal sources.
Thank you very much for your time. Fred Oduro is a local government analyst.